Hey friends, Josh here, founder of HR University and certified HR professional. In this video, I'll cover what is the cost of a disengaged employee. More specifically, what disengaged employees are and how much they can influence your organization. Yes, it might seem like a trivial thing to worry over, but don't get fooled here. A company is only as good as its employees. In other words, the more engaged employees are at your workplace, the more the company produces, and so the more profits. So when you look deeper into the employee disengagement today, you'll notice that it can pose a huge problem for any viable business. The biggest issue at hand, well, the amount of money the company can lose because of discouraged employees. Before we begin, don't forget though to hit that subscribe button so you can follow HR University for more informative HR content. Now that said, let's go ahead and jump in. So what is the definition of disengaged employees? Many companies face ongoing problems, but the biggest and rarely addressed one is employee disengagement in the workplace. Now, almost every company works for a profit, which then requires bringing the company's vision to life and making it more familiar to employees. As soon as a company's employees feel like they can relate to the company they work at, they'll be far more triggered to become engaged in all its processes. On the opposite side of efficient employees are the discouraged ones. In simple terms, when your employees don't feel the need to put extra effort into their work, or when they won't even recommend your product, you have yourself a business problem. And what happens when you can't get your employees to work in a way that would be productive? Or better said, what happens when you have employee disengagement? It's simple. You lose quality, reputability, progress, and ultimately money. But what are the causes of employee disengagement? The most common culprits behind employee disengagement are undoubtedly apathy and indifference. Think about it. If an employee doesn't care if there is something new happening in the company or cares not to adapt and improve, their work performance will sadly match that feeling. But there are many other factors that can influence the involvement of an employee in a company's work process, like the lack of employee recognition, feedback, trust, teamwork, control, autonomy, and others. For example, some employees might need constant supervision to show results. By monitoring their actions, disengaged employees can increase their productivity and pull themselves out of the disengaged pit. On the other hand, there are employees who will perform better when left to their own devices. At the end of the day, choosing your approach will be all about deciding who needs what and how. As for spotting early signs of employee disengagement, well, disengaged employees are not always the ones who refuse to work. Sometimes these can be employees who carry on their daily tasks effortlessly, but are simply not feeling connected to your company's idea. This can also lead to another red flag alert: lack of motivation. So ask yourself this: does your employee share your company's achievements? Do they share some interesting information with you that would help the organization? After all, curiosity is a clear indicator that an employee engages in work and, more importantly, likes to contribute to your company. And so lack of curiosity can be an obvious sign of dealing with a disengaged employee. Or say if your employee doesn't feel challenged enough, they might just end up in this group. In such cases, it's hard to pinpoint the issue. So what you can do here is try to enforce various team activities that come with prizes and make for just enough employee engagement. And should an employee fail to show up even when they're not busy doing other assignments, well, you can be quite certain that you're likely dealing with a disengaged employee. Another sign that your employees are not that engaged in their work is the amount of time they spend actually working. Stop and smell the roses, or in this case, watch your employees closely so you can notice just how efficiently your employees are going about their working day. Are they spending more time snacking or on bathroom breaks than doing actual work? Are they slacking and having trouble picking up the pace when needed? If yes, all these activities will let you know which of your employees is just not that interested in doing their work and would rather do something else instead. So how do you deal with disengaged employees? Well, discovering that an employee is truly disengaged or is simply not making ends meet at work can be a tough nut to crack. On one hand, you don't want to make the wrong assumption and shift the blame where it doesn't belong. On the other hand, though, you still need to filter out the disengaged employees, and that way you can act on the issue and keep your business moving along. To help you out, there are a few steps to better spotting your uninterested employees. So step one, acknowledge the problem to get to where you want to be in life. You have to start with yourself, always. So first step is to accept that there is a problem to handle. And once you come to terms with the fact that your company is sadly facing some disengagement issues, then you can move forward to solve the problem. Now, saying that there is a problem is not enough. You have to start fixing it. As I mentioned, you want to first take a break during work and notice what is happening around your office. And once you paint a better picture of how extensive the employee disengagement is, you can proceed with the second step. And that's step two, working on the problem. This step simply includes pinpointing the disengaged employees and deciding if they are worthy to retain. Yes, it can be a harsh process to filter out employees like this, but the truth is you can't and shouldn't keep all employees on your payroll. And once you have found out which employees are not feeling as engaged, but have the potential you need, you can start devising a plan to help them. A good idea to solve this issue is to create a survey. Yes, get every employee, engaged or not, to take part in it. As soon as you have the results, you can have a clearer picture of what you're dealing with and who of those employees will stay. Here, you want to make sure that the results in the entire survey process are transparent. If management is keeping things from the lower company tiers, the employee's motivation will decrease no matter how much you try to fix the issue. And most importantly, make sure that you take the employee's feedback. The survey itself won't magically fix the problem, but it will give you enough real employee opinions to get a clear picture of what needs to change to improve the overall working process. Surveys and feedback both make super efficient ways to re-energize disengaged employees. You can even ask them direct questions to expand the received feedback. And if there is more than one inactive worker, you might want to think about crafting a personal plan for each disengaged employee. But remember, this cannot be a one-sided relationship. As an employer, you have to make sure that your employees are on board with the plan as well. So skip the small talk and instead face the problem head on by directly pointing it out to the most problematic employees. Don't be afraid to hold employees accountable. While at it, also let them do most of the talking. This way, you'll understand the issue from their perspective and can then work together to find the solution that keeps both sides equally satisfied. And step three, measure the improvement. And this is the last step. You need to do a simple follow-up and track the progress if there's any. Of course, you can't get an employee out of the disengagement stage and back into productivity overnight. Getting there will take time, patience, and work. Plus, you have to measure the improvement of the employee as is, not just in case of discouragement happens. So take this step as a regular part of the evaluation process. Another good piece of advice is to document the whole process from A to Z. Starting at the beginning and working your way forward will give you a clear picture of just how far you and your employees have come. If no progress is seen, well, at least you are in the know and now, and you can make suitable alterations to your approach and get back on your productivity journey. And when discussing the costs of employee disengagement, it's no news that disengaged employees can wreak havoc on a company and cost it quite a bit of money. But keep in mind, we are not only talking about direct costs to the employer. Unproductive employees not only influence aspects of the entire workflow, but can also distract or aggravate the work of others within the company. And that creates a multiplying effect. And it's really the last problem you really want on your shoulders. As a rule of thumb, companies that have 50% more engaged employees have higher profits. That is understandable since their teams are more productive and engaged in their work affairs. And last but not least here, an employee leaving means greater financial losses for you, even though more indirect than direct. Just think of all the hours you put into training that employee and the money that you've spent there. Losing them would be a huge loss in efforts, time, training, and all the other aspects that make a business tick and run efficiently. Plus, now you'll have to invest more money into training and onboarding another newly employed person. So in a way, you don't only just lose money as a disengaged employee leaves, but you risk finding a suitable match thereafter. And there we have it. That's the essence behind employee disengagement and the ways in which it can cost you dearly if you let it go unnoticed. And if you got something valuable from this video in terms of better understanding employee engagement and also how to prevent it, make sure to go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you can keep up to date with all of our future HR videos, and I'll see you on some of our following videos. Cheers.